Hi, I'm driving alone right now, and what I'm about to tell you actually happened to me. It was past midnight when I started that drive. The road was one I had taken many times before, long, straight, and usually empty at night. My headlights cut through the darkness, and the only sound around me was the engine and my own breathing. I wasn't tired, not distracted, just focused on getting home. At first, everything felt normal. A few minutes in, I noticed something strange. The road felt longer than usual. I should have reached the next exit by then, but it never came. I kept driving, checking the signs, but they all looked unfamiliar. Not wrong, just unfamiliar, like I was seeing them for the first time. I told myself not to overthink it. Then my radio shut off. Not faded, not static, just silence. I reached to turn it back on, but the screen stayed dark. At the same moment, I felt a pressure inside the car, like the air had thickened. Breathing suddenly felt harder. I rolled my shoulders, trying to relax, and kept my eyes on the road. That's when I felt it. The unmistakable feeling that I wasn't alone anymore. I didn't look around. I didn't check the mirrors right away. I knew if I did, I might see something I wasn't ready to explain. My hands tightened on the steering wheel as my heart rate climbed for no clear reason. After a few seconds, I glanced at the rearview mirror. There was nothing there. Relief washed over me, but it didn't last long. The relief felt premature, like my body was calming down before the real danger started. The temperature inside the car dropped, not slowly, instantly. My breath fogged the windshield just slightly, even though the heater was still on. I reached to adjust it, but the controls didn't respond. Then I heard it. A sound from behind me. Not a voice, not breathing, just a presence. A subtle shift, like someone settling into a seat without touching it. I looked at the mirror again. This time, there was a shape. Not clear, not detailed, just a dark mass where the back seat should have been. It didn't move. It didn't need to. It was there, and that was enough. I wanted to scream. I wanted to stop the car. Instead, I kept driving. Something inside me knew that stopping was the worst thing I could do. The road ahead began to repeat itself. The same curve, the same broken sign, the same tree leaning toward the road. Again and again. I was driving forward, but going nowhere. My dashboard clock froze. 12:17 a.m. No matter how fast I went, the time didn't change. The radio suddenly turned on by itself. There was no music, just low, layered whispers, overlapping each other, too many to understand. I tried to turn it off. The volume knob did nothing. The whispers grew louder the more I focused on them. The shape in the back seat leaned forward. I didn't see it move, but I felt it closer. The air around my neck turned icy, like something was hovering just behind my shoulder. I could feel where it was without seeing it. That's when I understood something terrifying. This wasn't following me. It had been waiting. Every instinct in me screamed to look back, to confirm what was there. I refused. I stared straight ahead, blinking hard, fighting the urge to panic. My foot pressed down on the accelerator. The engine roared. Suddenly, the road changed. The trees vanished. Streetlights appeared out of nowhere. The repeating curve was gone. I was moving again, truly moving. The whispers cut off. The radio returned to music. I glanced at the mirror one last time. The back seat was empty. When I finally reached the city, I pulled into a brightly lit gas station and turned the engine off. I sat there for a long time, hands shaking, afraid that if I moved too quickly, whatever had been there might come back. I checked the time. 12:42 a.m. 25 minutes had passed. To this day, I don't know where that road took me or what shared my car that night. But I learned one thing. When you're driving alone after midnight, always check the back seat before you start the engine. Because sometimes you're not picking something up along the road. Sometimes it was already inside. I shouldn't be telling this story while driving, but that's exactly how it started. I was on the highway, alone, just after 1 a.m., the kind of road that feels endless at night. No traffic, no noise, just the hum of the tires and the glow of the dashboard. I remember thinking how calm everything felt. That calm didn't last. About 15 minutes into the drive, I noticed something small but wrong. The car in front of me had been there for a while. Same distance, same speed, no brake lights, no turn signals, just driving. Perfectly. Too perfectly. I tried slowing down. It slowed down. I changed lanes. It changed lanes. That's when I realized something that made my stomach drop. There was no driver silhouette, no headrest movement, just a dark shape where the inside of the car should have been. I sped up. The car stayed in front of me. My radio crackled, then cut to static. Through the noise, I heard something faint. Not words, not music. Breathing. Slow, controlled, like someone trying not to be noticed. I told myself it was interference. I told myself not to panic, but my hands were already sweating on the wheel. Then the car ahead suddenly turned off the road. No exit, no street, just darkness. Without thinking, I followed it. The moment my tires left the highway, my phone lost signal. The GPS screen went black, then showed one sentence in plain white text. "You're close now." I slammed the brakes. The car ahead was gone. I sat there, engine running, heart pounding, surrounded by nothing but trees. I don't remember driving into a forest. The road behind me was gone too. Just dirt, like it had never been there. That's when I heard the knock. Not on the door, on the roof. One slow tap, then another. Something heavy shifted above me, bending the metal slightly. Dust fell onto the windshield. I looked up, but the darkness swallowed everything beyond the glass. My interior light turned on by itself. In the rearview mirror, I saw fingerprints forming on the back window. From the outside, pressing in, slowly, deliberately. I couldn't breathe. The tapping moved from the roof to the trunk, then to the back seat. The seat sank. Something sat down behind me. I felt it before I saw it. The air grew cold, sharp, like winter air filling my lungs. My breath fogged instantly. The smell inside the car changed. Damp, old, like soil after rain. I didn't look back. I knew if I did, it would mean permission. Instead, I whispered the only thing I could think of. I didn't stop. The thing behind me reacted. The car shook violently, lights flickering, dashboard glitching. The engine revved on its own. My speed climbed without my foot touching the pedal. Trees blurred past. Then suddenly, headlights. real ones. A truck passed by. The forest vanished. The road returned. I was back on the highway. The radio played music again. My phone lit up. The back seat felt empty. I didn't slow down. I didn't check the mirrors again. I drove until sunrise. When I finally stopped, I noticed something that still makes my blood run cold. Mud. On the roof. On the trunk. And one clear handprint on the inside of the back window, facing me. Since that night, I never follow cars I can't clearly see inside. And if someone knocks on my car while I'm driving, I don't stop. Because some things on the road aren't asking for help. They're asking to be let in.
I'm not supposed to be driving this road anymore.
But every time I do, it remembers me. It started on a night when I was running late. The shortcut was empty, unlit, and technically closed, but I had used it before. I told myself it would save me 20 minutes. That was all the justification I needed. The moment I turned onto the road, my headlights dimmed. Not off, just weaker, like the darkness was pushing back. I checked the dashboard. Everything looked fine. Fuel full, engine steady, no warning lights. Still, something felt wrong. The road was too quiet. No insects hitting the windshield, no wind, just silence and the sound of my tires on the asphalt. After a few minutes, I saw a speed limit sign. It said 30. I slowed down. A few seconds later, I saw the same sign again. Same scratches, same bent corner, same sign. I told myself I was tired. Then I saw it a third time. That's when I noticed the odometer. It wasn't moving. My speed showed 30. The engine sounded normal, but the numbers weren't changing. I was driving, but not going anywhere. My phone vibrated. No signal, but a notification still appeared. You missed your turn. I laughed nervously and shook my head. My GPS was off. No apps were running. There was no way. The radio turned on. A calm voice spoke, low and clear. Next time, stop where you're told. I slammed the radio off. My heart was racing now. I searched for a place to pull over, but the road had no shoulders. Just trees pressed close on both sides, their branches leaning inward, forming a tunnel. Then the headlights caught something ahead. A parked car. Hazard lights on. Driver's door open. I slowed instinctively, but every part of me screamed not to stop. As I passed, I glanced inside the car. There was no one, but the interior light was on, and the back seat was soaked, not with water, with something dark and thick that reflected my headlights for just a second. I accelerated. That's when my car stalled. The engine died. The dashboard went black. I rolled to a stop, breath shaking, hands frozen on the wheel. In the silence, I heard footsteps. Slow, careful, crunching leaves. They circled my car. I couldn't see anything outside. The windows had fogged over from the inside, even though I wasn't breathing hard. A shape passed in front of the headlights, blocking them completely for a moment. Then my interior light turned on. In the passenger seat was my phone. I was holding it. I looked down. My hands were empty. The phone on the seat lit up and showed a photo. It was my car, from behind, taken just seconds ago. A new message appeared. You didn't stop last time either. The footsteps stopped at my driver's door. Something leaned in close. I couldn't see it, but the window creaked under the pressure. A voice right beside my ear now whispered softly, "We leave marks when you don't listen." The engine roared back to life on its own. I didn't think, I didn't look, I floored it. The road burst open ahead of me. Streetlights appeared. The trees pulled back. In seconds, I was back on the main road, surrounded by normal traffic like nothing had happened. I drove straight home. In my driveway, with shaking hands, I got out and walked around the car. There were handprints on the doors, not outside, on the inside of the windows. Since that night, I never take shortcuts. And if a road looks like it wants me to stop, I don't. Because some roads don't lead anywhere. They just want you to stay.